it's here again. It's just me.
That next step on part that risk.
See, that's I get that, but it's saying
Okay.
that momentum to take that step. You know what I'm saying? I think this conversation you helping me with that.
Thank you,
Lord.
Thank you.
All right, all right. It is time for Heart Talk. It is 12:32, and you are tuned into Heart Connections with your heart coach, Adelai Brown, on your community station with international inspiration, kinetichifi.com. Let's see here. It's time for us to renew our minds and restore our hearts today. And what better way to do that than Heart Talk? So we've been talking about the cost because today is Testimony Tuesday, and we've been talking about the cost of being you, the cost of living on purpose, the cost of living a life that models that exemplifies why you were created. And many people are not living like that simply because they are not willing to pay the cost. And I've been talking to LJ about this just in the studio, like right now. Me and her always having these. That she's just brilliant. I am so excited to see everything that is to come from, just everything that's to come from moments with LJ and defending Dinah, because I mean, just us having these conversations have been great. And what I realize is even wherever you are in life, wherever you're trying to be, you're going to have to pay for something. And I think that in the culture that we live in, the society that we live in, we always look at that as money. We just think cost and we just think money. In this segment, I want to talk about the cost that it's going to cost you in your relationships for you to live on purpose. A lot of people don't realize that. And when I say live on purpose, that could even be considered like cheesy or corny to some people. And I get that because I feel like it's been watered down so much. So many people think that their purpose is imitating other people, and it's not. But it's you are going to have to give something up. And if you I spoke about this last night on Heart Talk, and I may have talked about this yesterday on the show, but when I was watching the Lifetime movie, and I really don't watch Lifetime that much, but I just happened to be watching the Lifetime movie Friday night as they were preparing for the royal wedding with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Just like how that sounds. But the Queen Elizabeth in the movie asked Meghan Markle when they were discussing their engagement and was she really serious that this is something that she wants to do, that she realized what she was giving up. And because the Queen told her, look, Harry and I were born into this lifestyle. We were born into this royalty. Our lives were never our own. We realized that our lives were also for the people. We live our lives under under a microscope, all of that good stuff. I'm pretty much paraphrasing, but she was pretty much saying that once you accept this regal title and you become royalty, your life is no longer your own. You're obligated to do certain things for people. You're obligated to be in certain spaces to hold, to hold up certain images. And many people don't weigh the cost of that. They will say they want it. Many women are so in love with the man that they don't think about what comes with this man. It's like her marrying somebody that's in the spotlight, somebody that's one of the most popular people in the world. And and what happens is we get in these relationships, and I don't think that this is going to happen with them. I pray that it does. I pray to God that they die. I pray that they separate through death. I really do. I want this marriage to work so bad, just because I just believe that love is real, and we just live in a world where people are so pessimistic, and I just love when love wins. But there's a cost that Megan had to pay. She had to give up her American citizenship. She had to give up, certain family members couldn't be at the wedding. She had to do certain things a certain way. She had to pay a certain price to be a part of that relationship. She still will have to pay a price to stay in that relationship. So my thing for you is, what's the cost that you have to pay? And are you willing to pay it? What cost is your relationship causing you to pay? What price is your relationship causing you to have to pay that maybe you don't want to pay? This is something we need to consider. I know with me being married, like in my marriage, I didn't realize when I got married that there was a certain cost. There was a price that I had to pay to be a wife that costs a lot more than being a girlfriend. And I know people get upset with that. They'll say, well, ain't nothing different. If you married, I've even heard married people after they've gotten married, they'll say, it's nothing different. We just married now. No, it is something different. Something different took place in the spirit. But it's going to cost you something. And for many people, for you to live on purpose and for your life to be productive, for you to enjoy yourself, for you to get the most return on your investment, for you to get the ROI that you're looking for, you're going to have to pay a price with your relationships that you might not be willing to pay. There are a lot of people that are not going with you where you're going. There are a lot of people who will not come when you call. And you're going to have to accept that. You're going to have to accept the fact that there are a lot of people who are genuinely not happy for you. They just like to know what's going on with you. And the price you have to pay in your relationships is often one that many people don't want to pay. Many people will never grow. They will stay stuck in that one little flower pot and never repot and grow and expand to be where they need to be because they never want to be separated from people who never meant them any good from the start. What price do you have to pay in your relationships? Let me tell you the price that I had to pay for my marriage too. To be here, we thank God we're celebrating 6 years. For us to be here in 6 years, for me personally, I had to pay the price of the last segment we talked about, my identity. I had to pay the price of who I thought I was. Who I thought I was not going to be a good wife. I thought she would. But that was my own ego, my own arrogance, my own pride, my own envy, jealousy, all that nasty good stuff. And it was not going to fly in a productive marriage. It wasn't going to do it. Me thinking I'm better, me thinking I know it all, me thinking I can just talk to my husband any kind of ways, not even considering what I'm saying to him and not even so much of what I'm saying, but how I'm saying it. But for me to live on purpose, I had to pay a price. And the price was I had to let go of who I thought I was for me to embrace who God says that I am. And I feel like many of us are missing out because we don't want to do that. We don't want to surrender the thought of who you think you are. And what's happening is your relationships are dying. There are a lot of parents that have very strenuous, stressful, estranged relationships with their children that they really don't have to have, but they're not willing to pay the price. The pride is in the way, the ego. They just focus on me, 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 me. And you're not going to do me like this, and you're not going to treat me like this. Did you think about what might be driving this child to act like this? Did you forget about some of the things that happened? You never told her who her daddy was. And now you mad at her because she's angry with you and you don't know why. And you done all you're going to do for her. Really? Tell her who her daddy is. Maybe y'all could get someplace. But are you willing to pay that price? No, because you know you don't want anybody else to know who that daddy is. So you make your baby pay for it. It's a cost that you're going to have to pay for relationships to work. It's a cost that you're going to have to pay for you to live on purpose. And sometimes that cost is going to be a lot more than what you're willing to pay. I say certain situations, I use certain scenarios because many of them are just personal things that I've experienced. A lot of them are things that I read about. And just honestly, in my profession, just working with people, these are scenarios that people are dealing with every day. Like I have people that are in situations like that with their children. You won't even you act like this was immaculate conception, and you mad at me for wanting to know? Listen, y'all, we have been pacifying our pain for far too long. And yes, it's going to hurt to pay the price, But back to our quote of the day: the price of inaction is far greater than the cost of making a mistake. You are never making a mistake by telling the truth. Don't ever let the devil tell you that lie. You are never, ever, ever making a mistake by telling the truth. Tell the truth. Shame the devil. You can do it. I'm telling you, where we are right now in our lives, y'all, these relationships, the children, parents, siblings, people are really very short with each other. And you know what all that is? All of that is a representation of what's going on in people's hearts. We want to say we love God, but what does the Bible say? How can you say you love God and you can't see him? And you don't even love your brother who you can see. If you really want to be happy and you want your life to be lived to the fullest potential, you are gonna absolutely have to pay a price in some of the relationships that you're existing in. I know they get on your nerves. I know you rather not deal with them. It's all good. But guess what? What if they felt that way about you? Would you want them to fight through? Would you want them to be there for you? Think about it. This has been Heart Talk with your heart coach, Adelai Brown, on your community station with international inspiration, kinetichifi.com. We're talking about the cost and the price we pay for relationships. So let's let Bob Marley and the Wheelers help us out a little bit. Could you be loved? Of course you can, especially if you're listening to Heart Connections, because you know I love you. We'll be back with more after this. Chi Hi Fi.